already slated, so let's go. Hello. BetaWave Studios, Breaking Waves podcast, and we got one of my faves, Devaughon's crushes, and everybody's fave rock star, Torii Wolf.
Hey now, thanks for having me.
Torii is BetaWave's crush in general. That is 100%.
Torii is everybody's crush. I mean, you're crushing it. I'm not lying. So, hello.
Hey, it's been a while, right?
I was meaning to talk to you about this backstage. It has been too long. I'm a little bit upset about
Far
it.
too long.
I miss you.
I know. I miss everything about us.
We had so much. We were a rom-com. We were laughing. We were eating ice cream. I booped your nose with the ice cream scoop. Remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. God, what a time to be alive. Well, I'm glad that you're alive and well and you're here with us today.
Me too. So grateful. We're all still alive and breathing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, coming up on, another year, and I would say you stayed, pretty busy in 2021. Like,
Wowzers!
You're a very consistent creative force, which is like what I think I admire most about you as an artist is like you're just like the consistency to like make everything, even like every like just a single release, like everything feels like an event. And I love that.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like we just got to keep the faucet running,
Mm-hmm.
or else the pipes get rusty. And it's okay if they do, but I feel like it's important to just keep it on, keep it flowing.
Yeah, because I've always been curious. Because I mean, you did put out an album, this past year, but like you mainly have been like I said, like just like very more on the like consistent singles model. So like, what is your kind of thinking behind that strategy?
Yeah, it's interesting because as an artist, being in bands earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Was its own thing. You have this family and you work together and there's just all these feelings and everybody's opinions and thoughts on rollout. And then when I went off into being a solo artist, it's kind of like, I don't know, a little bit more liberating and freeing. And just working with different producers, doing different things. They don't have to sound as cohesive. Sometimes I'm just like, wow, this sounds cool. This is its own thing, and I want to honor it for what it is instead of trying to figure out how to put it on an album, and have it make sense as a story.
Stop putting things into a box.
Yeah,
just
really.
Throw
You know what I'm
it
saying?
out there into the world.
True.
And
how.
It sounds good.
And it's like how you do anything is how you do everything. I think about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
how you do anything is how you do everything. I'm doing everything wrong, I think. I just need to do more things. You do so many things. You had 2 albums this year, 10 Billion Years, and then Night Bloom.
Mm-hmm. Night Bloom, yeah.
I love Night Bloom. Those collabs are rocking, man.
Night Bloom is like, it's really its own experience. I did that in Norway.
Shut up.
So cool with these incredible musicians in Norway, artists, like creative beings. And then we all came together and they had heard songs of mine from eons ago. And when I arrived, they were like, how about, they pulled songs out of places. I was just like, how do you know that song? This is amazing.
You had a little Norway stalker. Okay.
It was so good. It was so good because it was so nice to breathe life into these songs that had been just kind of like floating off. It's like when you create things or have an idea, like what makes something exist versus not, Is it like putting it on paper or like recording it, releasing it? Like what makes it into something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Did you like go out there with the plan of it being that we're gonna like kind of get in this like do this like kind of creative retreat type deal and then buckle down do it, or were you guys just like hanging and then like the music kind of just start flowing?
There's this producer who I linked up with probably about 6 or 7 years ago here, and his name is Hans Petter Gunderson.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Hans
just this,
Gunderson, that guy rocks.
HP, we call him. He's just this like absolute legend in Norway, and he's just one of a kind human being. But we got together and did some drone music here, and then he had reached out and was like, remember that drone track we did? And I was like, yes. It just felt so magical. Yeah, it was just like just a continuous like feeling, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, come out to Norway, like let's make some records. And when I arrived, I just thought, I'm gonna go, we're gonna connect, in Bergen, and like I've never been there, and let's just feel it. And when I got there, they were like, you know, they booked some shows, and they're like, how about this song? Like, do you ever play this song? And I was like, wow, where'd you find that song?
Yeah.
You know?
I
And
forgot
so,
about that song.
yeah, so we like dropped into some like bunkers and like the most odd places to perform, and just like resurrected these songs and then recorded them all also. So that's what Night Bloom. That's what happened with Night Bloom.
It's amazing because your vocal, they're very moody. You know, they're sultry. They're mystic almost, I would say. I'm like, what? It's like I sometimes don't know what I'm feeling. It's like, where is this going? And then they paired it with some more upbeat, faster music. And I love the pairing. It was so fun. Like I hadn't really heard anything from you like that before. It felt it was so
it's
different.
like really organic instrumentation too. Like, you know, nowadays it's like there's just so much digital, like electronic, computer
you
stuff.
know, it's easy in that way sometimes.
Beep,
you
boop,
know,
bop. We
Yeah.
don't need it. No, give us the old school.
It was really nice. It is really nice. It's like just like really just, you know, there's silence, and then we start making sounds, and then there's sound, and then you stop when you want to, and there's nothing there. Or like our heartbeats are the only metronome that's happening. You know what I mean? We're like flowing together in a way that is really organic, that brings you back to the source of where this all started.
This sounds like it had a big impact on you, this
Oh,
trip.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was one of the favorite things you got out of this, or someone you met, or like something you discovered about maybe yourself on that trip? Because it sounds very inspiring.
It was just the best. I just sat down to a text about going back there just now.
Nice.
It's really interesting.
Oh, okay, very serendipitous.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. It's strong.
BetaWave exclusive. Yes. She's
Yeah.
going back to Norway.
I think I think the best part about it, I met this person, Nora, who she's like one of the top guzheng players in Shanghai.
What's
top
the
20?
guzheng again for the people at home?
Guzheng is kind of like this guitar. It's like almost like
Is it a laid down flat
it
guitar?
lays down flat, and it's
Cool.
really traditionally like, you know, played with
like the little picks.
Oh,
like the,
yeah.
Do they have
like,
that thing that they
multiple-
rub against the?
It's not like a slide or anything. It's a very
Okay.
picking and very traditional in China.
Beautiful.
Like Shanghai's like native instrument, you know, almost like a guitar, like a stringed instrument. But Nora Zhang plays it in these amazing ways. Like she, you know, in China, you couldn't really listen to like certain music. She would like sneak away underground to listen to like Sigur Rós albums. Like, you know,
I love sneaking away, listening to music. The
Right?
music's a little bit sounds better that way. I
so
think,
you couldn't
sneaking
even
away.
access it in
That's
China, you know, like
crazy.
they have these limitations. And so she would get really deep into this experimental way and like started to put it through pedals and like do just unheard of, unimaginable things with this instrument.
Wow.
Yeah, so working with her has been beyond, you know.
I think that might even match your vocals. Do you feel like you are in sync with this instrument? Like,
Oh, yeah,
because you've
it's-
never experienced this instrument before. You met
No.
her,
And
right?
I've heard it in different, like, you know, like Thievery Corporation,
Sure.
different, like, kind of electronic, tranquil, ambient vibes, kind of use it as sample and things like that. But, you know, she's like, shows up all raw with it. Woo!
What a cool experience.
Yeah.
there's something like interesting about taking something you know, more traditional and you know, putting it through our kind of modern means and stuff like
Yeah.
that to like kind of come up with something that's like wholly unique. And you know, so it's like I like how what I notice about you is like, you know, you pick very you get inspired in like different areas by different things. 'Cause it's like, you know, first we've already talked about you being inspired by like Norway, by its place and like that, like what that transports you. And then like with this, it's like that specific sound,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, how do you, you know, just like what, like take me through like the way that you like kind of like absorb your like inspiration and like kind of where you're like finding things that are like interesting you.
Well, I don't know. I learned a lot more about human design in the last couple of years, and I realized that being a reflector, there's 5 types, you know, and I am a reflector, and that means so much in the way of, it just made so much sense to me in the way that I connect and communicate and also find inspiration and create. It's like being an actual mirror, you know, and so when I interact with another being or another sound, even anything, it doesn't have to be another human, but it could just be like, I could really reflect all the magic that's bouncing back into me and then bounce it back, you you know?
Well, maybe someone sees an image or something they want out of you, and you can reflect back what they need, right? I mean, because you talk about this theme of using music to transcend, right? Like all the time. I feel like you have that theme a lot, and I don't know, just interviews you've done, and just kind of the music that you write and stuff. What is the transcendence that you're trying to help people discover? Is it out of oneself? Maybe help reflect someone back at their self, show them something they haven't maybe thought about.
Yeah, and also it's almost like a translation, like of emotion. So if I could feel something and tap into something, I like to form words as a container to, like what if sometimes you can't find the words for what you're feeling, and then you
all the time
hear this song or these lyrics or this sound in itself and just feel like it really resonates with where you're at in a moment, and like to just be held in it,
Yeah. I mean, I like, because I feel that way not only with music, I'm kind of this way with movies as well. Like, words aren't as important to me as more of the feeling of it. So it's like, like you said, like, I mean, I like it whenever an artist will just like kind of go off on like a gibberish, but like, if the feeling is behind it, then it's like, hey, that's fine. That's
so
all that
important.
I need right now, So it's like I do kind of favor that in general.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to like music and stuff, and like even like whenever creating it as well, like like words are fun, and I mean, and they kind of get you from A to B, but not as like important for me.
And a lot of people say they're like, oh, I don't even listen to the lyrics, and then some people are like, oh, like very particular about what is actually calling to them, but really it's the feeling. It is the feeling. Like even if you were to see someone or something in their element and it's something that isn't even like your cup, you're like feeling them feeling something, and that sounds each other,
I do want to taste of what's in their cup, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is everyone else drinking? I love tapas. Like, I always want a bite of everybody else's stuff. Like,
you're
just
one of
like
those?
let's share it. Yeah, come on. We're all family here.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Take a dip. Well, it's so. Do you find it as a burden bringing that on? Like, you're helping a lot of people feel things, discover things, maybe see things. Do you feel like, oh, this is a lot sometimes? I feel like you have to help people like that, or is this kind of something like, hey, I want to give this out. Like, I'm good at this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such an interesting question. Like, I see what you mean, but I don't feel it as a thing that I have or that I'm giving or doing. Just kind of like showing up for, you know? Holding space for,
Yeah.
There are some like buzzwords that like kind of make me cringe a little bit, but I really mean that, like it's just like just being able to be a conduit or a portal of, a vessel of any kind to just be, and then we could all be together.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard thing to, funnel, so many feelings that are, personal and unique to you, and then funneling that into something that is accessible, for all people to like kind of take what they get out of it and then connect to it in their own way.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing for sure.
Well, sometimes I think it can be tough to not know like what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling something of mine, or if I'm feeling like the collective energy, and just kind of like making sure that I need to like keep it flowing, and vibrationally.
You don't want the pipes to rust up.
Yeah. And also get confused or like take on something, like making sure that it keeps cleansing and transmuting. Like the transmutation is a huge one, I would say.
Yeah. Or like changing something if like you're, realizing that like something's not working, like changing something to like change the energy. Like I've noticed in like, the different shows that I've seen you in, and like the like different sets like I've like filmed for you, like the sets are always drastically different. I've noticed like you're not like oh, here's like my like kind of go-to set for this kind of situation. Here's this like I've noticed like you like really like to like switch that around a lot.
Yeah, it feels good to just show up and like check the vibe, And I don't want to like interfere with whatever's going on. I just want to show up for it.
You want to make it better, right? You want to improve it, like
yeah,
help
just
it
make sure
succeed.
that it's kind of like being met.
Serendipity. Yeah, you got to have it. I'm always curious about, you have such a unique style and like feel. Did you always have this, even growing up, maybe like you're like always like, hey, I kind of different. I like this stuff, even though nobody else likes it. Or it's like, did this come along later in life? Maybe when you moved to LA, like where did your kind of style and you come from?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's always been, I mean, when I look back more as time passes, it's like, oh, this has been like this all along. And you just get in these certain environments and like, I don't know, it's kind of like getting comfortable in like a new piece of clothing or like, in some crisp sheets. You're like, but then you find the spot,
If the sheets are tucked too, it's like
Tucked,
my
forget
feet
it.
are sweaty. Why are these tucked?
It just takes time, to like really
Yeah.
find it. And then when you look back and realize like, oh, I recognize why that felt uncomfortable. It was just like not where I was meant to be yet. It wasn't that I was wrong or like not there yet so much as just like
You just hadn't like
locking
grown
in.
into it yet. Like
Yeah.
I had this windbreaker that like I've kept for like years upon years, but like for like 5 years, the first like 4 years of having it, I never wore it because
Yeah.
it just didn't fit right. But
Yeah.
I was like, but it's a nice jacket. I'm gonna keep it. And then eventually,
I still have a trench coat. I'm trying to work into the rotation,
Yeah.
but no, it still looks like I'm, not a good person. in it. So I was like, not yet, Dan, not
Yeah.
yet. No, people aren't ready for the trench coat.
Yeah.
They might
People
never
aren't
be
ready
ready.
for
It's
Yeah.
a sign of hope, though. You know what I mean? And you're just like
Yeah.
moving towards closer and closer to the
One
coat.
day,
Mhm.
one day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's already gonna be summer again, so screw it. It's
Yeah.
next year for sure.
I definitely have always found, like, along the way, just locking into like, these, just animism always helped me. Just the form of like looking at everything and anything and finding a story and life in it. Like the symbiotic relationship between certain things has always really inspired me. Anything. Like a chair holding a person or like,
Yeah.
and then also how like a chair was once a tree and then we could, like everything is all
Where it's come from, where
it's come
going.
from, where it's going, and like how we all are always connected.
Speaking of where you came from, Long Island, East Coast.
Yeah.
East Coast kid. Did you enjoy that? Like, how much fun did you have? I feels like I imagine beaches and hot dogs and roller coaster rides.
Yeah.
Did any of those things happen?
All those things happen.
I wish I had more hot dogs in my life, honestly.
That's what all of us imagine East Coast childhoods
it
are
is.
like. If you grow up in New York, that's your life. Everything.
That's it. I grew up across the street from where this like neighborhood fair was too, and
Hell
it was
yeah.
really cute. Like when I was super young, my parents, we would wait till it was like really popping off, and then we would go across the street and find like bracelets that people threw on the ground, and we would go home, like tape them on our wrists and just jump in.
That's
That was the
amazing.
best. Like little cute things like that are just forever,
I love that.
You never know.
So you guys are thrifty.
Oh yeah, forget it.
Forget it.
My mom still to this day, she always goes, "Stick with me, kid." That's like her thing. She says,
Follow me. We'll get you through it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys had a kind of a fun. Do you have brothers
"Yeah,
or
I have
sisters?
a younger bro."
Oh, younger bro.
Yeah, who
Very
I collaborate with all the time now. And
Yeah,
he moved
yeah.
out here.
Cool. Oh no way! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's
Louis
awesome.
Fierce.
Louis Fierce.
That's right.
Might need him for the pod. Okay,
Oh,
might
yeah.
call him the bro.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's so amazing that he's out here with you now.
It's the
and
best.
you guys are. What does he do in kind of your life with the
He's-
collaborations?
Together we create music together. And we've performed it live a few times, which has been really magical and cool.
Amazing.
Like, we came from the same sauce
Yeah.
and we grew up together.
Yeah.
Well, there's no one's gonna know you as well as like a brother, or like,
Yeah, maybe so.
Even more so than a parent for some kid. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I left when I was 17 and so he was 12.
was that hard on him? Do you think?
I think so. Like he'll make
I would miss you. I miss you
He
now.
says little-
We're not even brother and sister.
He's made little like, cute things he said here and there, like, man, like one time he was buzzed, it was New Year's and we met up years later. He's like, really, really wish that you didn't leave so soon, but like one day, we'll hang out more. And I was like, oh, but
Wow.
in the small amount of time, those first 12 years, we had the best time. Like we were doing
Yeah.
everything, making music, writing, like I would, have him memorize all these lines from like Rent, like Broadway shows, and I'm like, you'll thank me later. We would like drop into it so heavy.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute.
That-
Was it your idea to like, hey, like you're perfect for this part, little bro. Like, let's do this.
When we
let's
were
play together.
younger, yeah, and then I would like beatbox and stuff, and then he would I'm like showing him kind of like freestyling and what that was, because there was this one freestyle that I was just obsessed with, and so he tried it and he blew my mind, like this baby child spitting. And I
That's
was like,
crazy.
I called our parents and sisters, like, look at what he could do,
They're the best freestylers because little kids don't double think it.
Oh
They just let it loose.
Unbelievable what comes through him. Seriously. And still to this day, I mean, he's a rapper, he's a producer. He's leaning more into the kind of pop style now, which is what he loves and wants to listen to. So it's,
I love this. The band is back together.
oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
You guys are back.
Yeah, like what a way to reconnect because like, I have younger siblings but like 5 years is like an awkward age gap, because like you are a little bit in a different phase, but
Yeah.
at the same time it's still not too far away.
I think it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I would intentionally do that, having that
Like
gap.
stagger
was-
them out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
You
always...
have a built-in babysitter. You know what I mean? You
Well,
can just
yeah.
leave anytime you want.
That's how it felt. I was like, we had him.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
that's
almost a
cool.
parent. Yeah, you're like a third parent.
But I was psyched. I was like, yes. Like, and that's the only, like, anytime he would, like, I don't know,
You had a
poop
walking,
or cry
talking
or
doll.
something.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
I was like, I asked for him. They always still make fun of me. You asked for him.
But it's really dope that now you get to like, reconnect in that way and then like kind of bring those like little background, things from when you're a little, to the stage now. Like me and my sisters, they like every family function, they like to always bring up this like beef that we have amongst the siblings that like we used to make dance routines together and like we'd
Yes.
like do dance routines, like perform for people. And then
Yeah.
whenever I got like older, I would like start like dipping out of the routines,
Oh, you were
Or-
too cool.
and
Devaughn
I
thinks
faked
he's so cool.
I faked injuries.
Wow.
You faked injuries? Okay, wow.
So at every family gathering, they like bring up all this like the beef that they still
Wait,
have
what
cooking
happened? Did you
in
feel
the back
embarrassed?
burner. Yeah,
You started feeling embarrassed.
You
You're like, I'm
know,
not doing
because
this.
it was like I was 4 years older than one, 3 years older than one, but then we also had like a real young one that's 8 years younger than me.
Uh-huh.
So like by the point where she's like trying to be in the things, but like, she can't really hit the moves. And it's like, she's not up
She's
to
not picking
and
up her
I
slack,
just
and then
didn't-
we look stupid.
I just didn't have the patience,
Yeah.
and then so I
Faking injuries.
I
that's a
like
good
it
one.
was like there was like I think it was
My
like
tummy hurts.
no, it was my ankle. It was like
Okay.
it was Thanksgiving. I was like, it's my ankle, guys. I heard it at practice the other day, and I just can't, guys.
Just gonna
And they're
sit
like,
this one out.
yeah.
Wow.
Have you ever faked an injury?
You know what? I have.
Oh no.
You know when? And I would never do this like now with my brain and all that I've learned here. But I was on the lacrosse team, and I knew I just really wanted like.
I knew you played lacrosse. I was like,
I just added to the list of the East
Badass.
Coast. Yeah,
you like walk into a place like, oh, this person has played lacrosse for sure.
Well, that's the thing though about the whole gender thing with like lacrosse specifically. Just even the way you hold the stick, the net, every single thing about it is so like deet deet, And then there's like a whole ass skirt you have to wear. Anyway, that
Don't
was
they make the boys wear skirts too, or no?
no, that'd be cool.
I think they should. That's
Right?
BS. Everyone should be
how?
wearing skirts.
It wasn't even so much the skirt part as that like I'm not like a team type of like competitive type of. I'm like.
Well, yeah, you ditched
Chill.
all your bands to go on your solo career.
I'm just chilling, Yeah, I just want to chill. I'm just trying to chill. But I also was like crushing, and like wanting sense of community, like the whole vibe. So I was like, take me on the bus. I will sit here, watch the game, and like hang out on the bus ride home. That feels like joy.
Those are the best parts of any.
It's the best. I could still
like,
smell it.
Like, yeah, you're on the bus. Everyone's hanging out, having a good time, eating fish sticks.
But so you were practicing hard enough just to be on the bus and be on the team, but then like
And I
but
hurt
you
my
didn't
ankle
but you
so
didn't
every
want to
Friday,
play.
every Friday
I
night
was
she
like,
hurt her.
my
But you were
ankle. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, but it was like so obvious. You know what I mean? Especially to my parents. Like we're locked. They know.
Your guys' team didn't have like managers. That's what all my sports teams had. Like
Were
the
they
people
really?
that like it was either like if they were in a sport that was like off season. Because like for volleyball, guys and girls seasons were inverse. So like, but then we did still have a kid that like he didn't really want to play, but he just like liked to like help out at practice and stuff.
I just want
And
trying to hang out.
he was the manager, and
Yeah.
and he just kind of chilled with us.
Oh, like I could have been the manager?
Yeah. you could have
didn't
been the
to go through all that
manager.
work.
Yeah.
Like with the running and the sticks. Yeah, none of it.
Nah. Just sitting out would have been fine for me.
Next
which
time.
It was. Yeah.
Next time. I'm just keeping the bench warm,
Yeah,
everybody.
totally.
Don't worry. Yeah. You need
Totally.
it? It's warm.
Uh-huh.
It's perfect. We're going to go. So are you and your bro gonna release anything? Do you think
We've
together
released
year?
released 2 EPs this year, which has
hell.
been really amazing. One of them, well, both of them, they were inspired by this short film that we did. We were asked to do music for by Sierra Pewitt, and it just kind of, the references were just like, you know, music that I love so much, like James Blake and some Radiohead vibes. So we just dropped heavy into that whole realm, you know?
So fun. So you guys got super inspired. Like,
Yeah, and then
let's
we
lock
made-
ourselves in the dungeon and make some stuff.
Yeah, and it just came so, like, it just moved quickly, you know? And so it, we did, I think, about 10 songs maybe
Awesome.
in that vein.
Is your bro one of your favorite people to work with? Like, if you had to choose somebody, do you think,
Well, yeah,
or
probably
maybe easiest?
in the level, on the level of deep love and how amazing it is to create with something. Like, I like look at his feet while we're doing it, and I'm just thinking like, wow, our feet look different, and he's got that cute little like chocolate chip on his side of his foot. I have mine on my stomach.
Chocolate chip?
Yeah, it's like a little chocolate chip.
Oh, like a little birthmark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm just
cute.
thinking, like, you know, we like came from the
My
same
mom called
place.
mine angel kisses. That came back to bite me in camp when I was like, there's this one kid with a bunch of moles. We were all pillow fighting in the cabin
look at
with
your
our shirts
angel
off. I was like, look at your angel kisses. And the kid's like, what did you just say? And then they called me angel kisses for the rest of that week
Oh,
at
wow.
camp. So that sucked.
Oh my
But
goodness.
chocolate chips are cute.
They
I
would
like
have
that. Yeah.
went over well, I think,
Yeah,
probably in that
give me like
situation.
cookies.
Yeah.
Is probably the kid would have said instead of making fun of me. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Look at,
anyways,
look
moving
at your
on.
chocolate chips, bro.
But so you're looking at your brother's chocolate chips, and you're
Yeah.
like, I know this person
Just
intimately.
like it's amazing to like then create and like that immortalize that experience as well. Like we're both jumping in on that, but in the way of easy, I don't know. That's funny.
That's funny.
We're different. We are very different.
Yeah.
Despite where we come from, you know, it's like, and in a good way. I think we both lend a lot to each other.
Oh yeah, there's gotta be like as much, you know, it's gotta be a give and take. You know, it can't
Yeah.
be you just like give it back and forth, because then, you know, nothing would ever kind of be solved in that aspect. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of need, you know, you need the right amount of pushback between in the creative processes to
Yeah.
like, you know, keep it balanced.
Yeah, working with different people is every person is just so different, you know?
You got to learn a little bit from. I would think you want a wide variety of people. I mean, I know there's also the other proponents that say, hey, have one master teacher that
Right.
teaches you everything. Maybe you should, so many opinions maybe isn't good. I don't know if you think this similarly on that, but I feel like I would like to get to know more people that as possible and get a bunch of different points of view.
Yeah.
Or like, or something that I think would be interesting. Would you say, because like collaboration is obviously like pretty important to you in your artistry, do you kind of look at it more in a way of what can I lend to as many different people's things as possible, or what can they all lend into me, into my artistry?
Well, I don't know. It's similar as like as the back to the reflector part. It's like I'm just excited to show up and show them their magic, and you know, not to say that I'm doing anything other than just I tend to see the magic in other beings, and so like energetically in a space, you know, I'm all hopped up. I'm psyched. I can just see this like iridescence shining through, you know?
Well, that's one thing I love about your energy is it's infectious. And it's like, I get excited when you're around because like you're happy. You're like, you want to go. You're like, yeah, let's create stuff.
I'm
Let's like,
psyched.
this is awesome. Like, I want to be a part of this, even if it's a small part or a big part. Like, I feel like you have the same attitude no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's different though, because like whoever it is that I'm around, it's just like I'm like a hyper-color t-shirt. You know what I mean? It's like the temperature, different colors based on the temperature.
Chameleon, yeah. You're gonna vibe to every room.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
But I'm super, you know, present and attentive in it. It's not like just throw me in and I'll just be whatever. It's kind of like
You're not just there snacking on celery and carrot bits and then
Yeah,
taking a
no.
nap. No, you're performing. Yes, because you're the ultimate chameleon.
Yeah, but it is like I am also lending something. I don't know. It's kind of like just I don't know.
You're using what you have to also amplify, you know, the best parts of like what got you interested in wanting to work with that person to begin with.
Yeah,
you know,
like bringing all the paints, but you can tell which like palette, what colors you're gonna use once you arrive. You know.
Yeah, and I love that, so much of what you do is very cinematic. Like you very much like to like pair your visuals with, the songs. I remember when I saw the video for Go Quiet, I really loved that video. Like I like the song by itself, but like it's like one of those things like the song feels better when I watch the video with it,
Cool.
because it just like kind of has like that perfect like linkage to it, and putting them together. And you also mentioned you and your brother work on some music for a film. Is like score composition something that like interests you as well, that you
Oh,
like kind
yeah.
of want to go into and like curating?
That's what I've done this
soundtrack?
for, I think.
Yeah.
I remember just even in the very beginning, before I was even really making music. Well, I guess I've always been in some way, shape, or form, whether it was even like percussive or whatever. But early on, my uncle asked me what I'm doing, like what I want to do when I grow up. And I just remember saying, like, I just can't wait to make a song that's, a part of a movie where like someone is even just like driving in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
And then
What were
he
you
was
in-
just like, you gotta dream bigger than that.
Yeah,
You know?
you can do it all. What were you and the uncle play? Like, does he play music or?
Well, yeah, my uncle and my dad, before I was born, they were deep in it. They were like, my dad wrote the songs, like lyrically, and it was from a female perspective, which is always interesting. But like they had this woman sing their songs, and it's more like house music.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. They went and like scouted and listened to women perform in different like clubs, and they found this woman specifically, and they were like, they brought her in, she sang the songs, and he still gets fatter BMI checks than we do.
Your dad was American Daft Punk.
Oh yeah.
They
Big
were-
time. And it's interesting to like think about how well he wrote from that perspective. So sassy. Loved it. Yeah,
It's like he was doing musical drag,
totally.
which is like super cool.
It's so cool.
That sounds like so much work to go out and scout for somebody. Like that's amazing
They
that they
did
went
it
to all
all.
that trouble. That's insane
It's
to me.
really
That's
cool.
amazing.
It's also like kind of a nightmare to think about having someone like an artist responsible for like your entire vision. Hoping that they nail it,
Yeah.
hoping that they show up for it, hoping they connect with it, or even just do it the way that they want. And, it worked out though for however long it did. And then
And then you came along and ruined everything.
did.
Yeah.
It's funny. An example of if it didn't work out, the group that did that song Rhythm of the Night, that was really popular.
Yeah.
So they found this gal to like sing it, but then I guess didn't think that she looked the way that the voice sounded or something. So when they performed, they had another gal
Wow.
in the group that did and lip sync to the vocals of this other gal.
Tough stuff.
Lame.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Because
Lame.
they didn't think that it met it
Like her image was the right one.
So strange. I don't know.
Did your dad and your uncle, did they encourage you like at a young age to try music? Like, hey, like maybe we think you'll like this, or like this is what we used to work on, or anything like that?
Like we all knew their songs. Sometimes they would play on like 103.5, and we would all be so psyched.
103.5 classic.
Hell yeah. But I didn't understand at that time, and they weren't really actively doing it around me or anything.
Right.
But and I don't know how anyone else feels about this, but like the curse of being a musician and a writer, you just like don't listen to as much music. I think it's like
Right. You're like,
There
this
was-
all sucks. I could do a better job.
I mean,
than
that's not
this."
how it is for me. It's more just like silence is nice. Or if I do listen to music, it's a lot of like instrumental, I don't know, grooves. My dad specifically, he's just like, I hate music.
Really? He's all bitter. Yeah.
But he knows everything, and he loves everything, really. He's
Right.
just like, like he'll light up talking about like, Dave Edmunds and like going all the way deep into it,
Yeah, but when you've gotten to a point when you absorb so much,
Oh, so much.
I suppose.
Yeah. But anyways, I was really fortunate to have parents who didn't really push anything onto me, but
They let
they
you-
listened to like what I found interesting.
They kind of let you flow, like, hey, like, go ahead, give it a shot. Like, we're not going to discourage you from doing something. They let you just
Yeah.
try things out.
But they were there, if I said it, you know what I mean? And so it was a lot more of fine art in the beginning. I was so into drawing and painting and all that. But then,
So you already curated your entire everything almost. It kind of feel like you were there. You have had the genetic talent, and then you followed a course and like made one for yourself, your own path.
Yeah, I really got into the drums. I was into drums.
That's awesome.
And then
Fun.
writing some songs on the drums was just like not really feeling full. Like I needed another sonic element or something. So my dad hired this guy, Rick, who was so like, he was awkward and cool. Like, one of those dudes who just like always look wet.
Yeah, his hair's constantly wet.
Yeah.
It's
hair
never
is
getting
just
it dry.
slightly
like
glistening.
deep curls and like wet, and his voice was kind of nasally.
It's
and
called
like,
pomade. That's why it's always wet.
Oh,
Yeah, it
and
never
was, like,
dries.
full head to toe, like leather, boots, jacket, everything, and just kind of like a little awkward. And he would come to the house and just like teach me how to read tabs.
Sweet. So Rick taught you how to rip.
Yeah.
That's bad. So guitar lessons too, or like piano and all that stuff?
They were just guitar, like guitar tabs. Like it wasn't deep, I was like, this girl that I had a crush on that I didn't realize that's what was happening at the time. But she was like, "Oh, Wish You Were Here" is like such a cool song. Imagine if like could play that on the guitar. And I was like,
oh, I'm gonna learn how to play this guitar.
You went bet.
I'm all Rick,
bet.
yeah,
Got you.
I'm like, Rick, I just want to learn Wish You Were Here. He's like, maybe we should start with, Smoke on the Water.
Actually, that's a pretty complicated song.
Yeah. But he was like, it's true. He started me off with Smoke on the Water. It's just like, bow, bow, bow.
Bow, 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 wow. Bow, 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 wow, wow.
Yeah, and I nailed that one. I just needed to take some time, and Wish You Were Here happened, and we moved on.
Yeah.
I was
and
done.
then until I didn't wish you were here anymore. And
I was
then,
done, yeah. Wish you would leave.
Different song.
I really did love that. It was so important. It was such a part of the whole thing. Just realizing like, oh, I could actually like make my way around this instrument without having to dive in so deeply on like theory and notes and understanding. And I mean, a lot of people ask me that now, like, do you know how to read? And like, on one hand, I wish that I did. And maybe I'll learn more. But on the other hand, it's always been kind of this way to just facilitate me to sing, really. It's not like...
Yeah, that's what I've noticed is like your style, your playing style, like very much is like an extension of your voice. Like it's like you're extending your voice through your hands, essentially. Like
I enjoy that.
Kind of making it more free and expressive. A band I've really been into lately is Idols. Have you listened to them?
I haven't.
They're this band out of UK. They're like kind of like a more modern noise rock punkish type band, and just all their stuff is like very guttural and like animalistic, but it's not they're not as focused on as much of the technical stuff, but it's just like it's like just like these like guitar sounds sound like sounds. They're not the songs or like the
like technical compositions of sorts.
So it's like a organized chaos way that they kind of arrange their stuff. And
I also love to work with people who do really drop into their instrument, which could be guitar or any other thing and it's nice to be able to do that with somebody, you know?
Well, I feel like you'll be able to, hey, I need you to play this little lick. Like maybe something you're like, I have this idea for this. Like I wanted to go with my vocals along like that. And I feel like you can express that in a way someone's going to understand if you like need something.
I could, but also like my most favorite part about collaborating is like, someone would show up and I'll sing something and then, they'll sing back to me with what they hear in between, It's like
That's
this space
so
in between.
Cool. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that.
Recently, I had an older song called Keeps, and I was playing it with Electro Noir and Bad Tooth. Bad Tooth is they're both really sick guitarists, but in this instance, Bad Tooth was kind of doing these like in between noodles, and it's just something
noodles.
that I had. I am me too. And it's just something that I hadn't heard. Like
it's like something you haven't thought about, right? Like, oh
it was
my
something
God,
I didn't think about. So something brand new, born like, and that's like it just gets recreated. Like you can go to Portland many times and it'll be different every time.
Yeah, and speaking of your voice too, like how you're talking about, like the way that you use it in response to other people that you're collaborating with. Like your voice is so unique. Like it very much, you know, you have this very specific timbre and like the things that you can do with it texturally is very interesting. So like obviously like kind of finding your voice like takes like a hot minute to like kind of figure out. Was there like anyone like when you were teaching yourself how to sing like that you were like kind of modeling after their voice and then like kind of allowed yourself to like find your own from there?
Yeah, I think initially when I was singing, I was kind of, it was like, you know, Jagged Little Pill was happening or something, you know what I mean? And I can hear myself like having those like clucks and the granola hippie Lilith Fair vibes. And I was like,
Yes.
like how can I shake this? Because it's not that I enjoyed it most definitely at that time when I was learning to sing and play guitar, but it wasn't aligning with how I really feel on the inside. It was just kind of like, so I did intentionally try to cool my jets on those. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but you know, like jewel yodels and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is beautiful. It's just not how it didn't match. And so, but when I found Radiohead soon after that, and started to learn some of Radiohead songs on the guitar, which was just like, you know, life changing. Sigur Rós really has influenced me in a lot of ways. Just knowing that like this language that's happening, whether it's like Icelandic or kind of this, there have been rumors around it being kind of like a mesh between English and who knows what's happening. It doesn't even, like you were saying before, it's like the words. It's more about the feeling and the way that Jonesy has like really cracked open the sky with these beautiful, amazing, angelic feels over these really explosive kind of crescendo compositions. I love that juxtaposition.
That's what I was talking about earlier with the blooms, the night blooms. Like I was just like, it's haunting, it's beautiful, it's serenic.
Yeah.
I'm bad at explaining things and describing things, but I love it.
I love that. And so, yeah, like leaning into these more stylistic type influences, you know, Icelandic, any Nordic vibes. Bjork has been an influence for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of comes through. I love the kind of like dissonant minor flow, the note choices, and kind of like building like steps and stuff like that. I don't know what it does. It's just the bend really like does something to my body.
It's addictive. It's inspiring, and I can't get enough of it. So I'm so excited for this next year and what it has to bring for you. I know that you're having March 12th.
Yeah,
right?
March 12th.
Tell us about that. You're having an immersive art show.
Yeah, it's been really interesting because I don't know, you know, with COVID and all these things and the pandemic and
blah blah blah.
I've been so grateful to be able to drop in on the computer, you know, and like in the lab and create and be able to still share and connect.
It's huge, right? I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why you're able to create so much, because we all had to be locked down at one point in time or whatever.
You know, I really don't, but I do miss.
We have to get back out there. Yeah, you got to get back out there and perform. It's needed. We need you.
In like human contact and interaction while we're here, you know?
Yeah.
Like we can do so many things, but there is nothing like really sharing space, like physical energy.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to do, there's this artist, Marnie Weber, I believe her name is, but she was so amazing at integrating kind of music with art and created this band called the Spirit Girls, and they were like from the dead, and she would have them perform in like art galleries, but like hang them from the ceilings. They'd be like actual humans playing instruments, and people would just kind of show up to the gallery and like watch the band play. And I just remember thinking like, yes, this is the direction I want to go. I want to have more like an installation instead of like just the go-to, you know, bar show or like people you know, it feels good to have this. And also I've always felt really drawn to dance and choreography of any kind. It just blows my mind. Really blows my mind.
Well, your body is the art, which is so cool. Like I love when those people have those long sheets or something, like you know, they're twirling off them, or like Will Ferrell, and you know when he's doing the ballerina dancing with the things. Like it's so cool.
Well, it's amazing to express yourself with your body and like allow energy to move through you, and also to sculpt. You're a sculptor.
It's truly an art.
Or to like have just another art form there to like kind of influence the way you're looking at something else or the way that you're hearing something else. 'Cause then you
Simultaneously seeing someone kind of like take form and express what they're feeling.
So we can see you hanging from the ceiling March 12th then, is what you're saying.
Well, this will be on the ground probably, but it's called Sense. I'm collaborating with this incredible curator, artist, Future Eyes.
Cool.
And Future Eyes rules. His name is Brent, inside his body, his human body.
His human body's named Brent, yeah.
But he's a beam of light, and he puts on these incredible,
Freaking
experiences.
awesome, yeah.
So it's going to be, an immersive performance. There's dancers and music and sound.
Awesome.
Building a container for that.
Do we need to buy ticks?
Yeah, totally.
Where at?
There's an Eventbrite link.
Bright link. We'll put it in the thing in the.
It'll be in the in the thing.
In the thing.
Yeah.
I don't do any of the digital stuff. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm like, there'll be a button. You'll find it. Okay. Well, there'll be a link or something. You'll figure it out. Well, that's super exciting. I cannot wait to see that.
Yeah. I
Oh
can't
my
wait to
gosh.
See you there.
Yeah. I just want to see someone hanging out of the ceiling. Like,
yeah, maybe that'll be next time.
Puppet master me.
And where can the people find you on social media so we can keep up with all the magic that you're creating?
Yeah, well, my handle is Torii Wolf, TORIIWOLF.
Two eyes.
Two
Don't
eyes.
forget it.
Yeah.
2 eyes. We all have 2 eyes.
Some of us do.
Dot'em, yes.
Oh, well,
actually,
sorry.
technically, some people don't, Devaughn. Okay, we'll scrub that.
Some people have 3.
Some people.
You're
Shakra.
Dun, dun, dun.
I love it. Well, we're coming from you live at BetaWave Studios. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Music Man Dan.
And if you are listening to the audio feed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, rate us 5-star, leave us some nice words. We'd appreciate that.
Boop.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram @_daddydisco. And until next time, guys.
Torii
stay
Wolf,
wavy.
this was the best. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.